Hey, let's do this thing. Let's see, Anthony, how close were you? Anthony's Fishy Friends, Chattanooga Ed in the house. Who else is here? See 4 people, 4 thumbs up. Thank you, gang, already. How you doing? How's your week? As soon as we're done with the live stream here, I'm doing laundry today. It's pretty exciting. My life is pretty good. I'm going to do some water changes for the fish. And I've got to do my lower level guppy tank, so I'll do that. Hey, Posiwee, how are you doing? You made it. Absolutely. Absolutely you did. All right, Anthony, climb away. I'll accept your lurking. We're discussing fish food today. And especially for guppies. And you look through the series of foods that are available, wide variety of brands, wide variety of stuff. I get a couple of different things. Number one, I get the Doug Gray's high protein food, which is good. I picked up some earthworm flake and brine shrimp flake from Fancy Tail Aquatics. That's good. I normally have in my fish room, and I don't right now, and I just have to order it. I just ran out not that long ago. Is the Cobalt Ultra pellets, and with the wide variety of food available, and I'm using Extreme as an example. I put them on the deal because it seems to be like the flavor of the moment. Hey, Chevy Fish, how are you? You have a lot of people in the fish fam promoting it, and I'm sure it's a nice food and all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about guppies, and I'm talking about guppy growth. Okay. IFGA recommends almost 50% protein, if not more, if you can get it. On the guppy variety of food, just going through the ingredients and through the stuff, a lot of times you see stuff that's like 30-something% protein. That's not good. I do some frozen food. I actually need to pick some up. I'm out of Daphne. I need to pick that up. I look at a wide variety of things. So if you're keeping guppies, especially if you want guppies with high growth and high stuff, you have to, if at all possible. Now, some people can't do it because they may have issues with room and all that sort of stuff. Fine, but you must use live baby brine if you can. Chewy, what's up? How are you, Chevy Fish? Let's see here. So for me, it's all starting with that wonderful baby brine shrimp, and I feed mine before bedtime. Now, some people recommend Bolo's up here. Bolo's been like laying in my lap all day. I just took him for a walk. I mean, he's been in my lap like there's no tomorrow. Hey, Cyclist23, what's up? John Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics. How you doing? So I'm not picking up on any particular food or not. I'm just going to tell you what you need to look for. Is that, the ultra pellets, the Guppy ultra pellets from Cobalt, it's about 45% protein. That's fine. You'd like a little more, but that's fine. Doug Gray's food, high protein. It's is that look for stuff that has really high protein. Really important for guppies if you're trying to go out and do stuff from that. Less than 40% ain't going to cut it. 41%, 42%, not that great. If you can be in the 45% range, 50% range on the prepared foods, do it. It'll help going on from there. So, by the way, I am drinking something today. No, it's not a beer. It's noon here. It's not 5 o'clock. I'm drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. Ooh. Red Corvette was part of the programming. Yep, fast cars and life in the fast lane. Prince, the Red Corvette. Yeah, it does taste like real Dr. Pepper, and that's sort of like I eat relatively well. You may not look at it and go, but I eat, and this for whatever reason drives people bonkers when I say what my diet is. My diet is, when it's all said and done, it's a modified vegan diet. And what do I mean by modified vegan? It means I'll occasionally have meat, usually a couple of times a week. I'll eat eggs, but most of the time it is pure vegan. It's it's like last night for dinner I had crabless cakes, zucchini. Why do I eat zucchini? Because the fish love it, and so it really all it comes down to is I feel bad about chopping up a couple of pieces just for the fish, and I can't enjoy it. So my vegetables are all around what I can also give to the fish. Crazy as that may seem. Yeah, Tawny Contan didn't dance on the card though. Yeah, a little bit of a downer. And crusty crabless cakes. Yeah, it's crabless cakes from Gardein. Actually, really good. Actually, really good. And their fishless fillets are pretty good as well. So when it comes to feeding fish, and Chewy, you are really trying to get this off the rails. Gotta love you. Um, you share your veg with your roaches. You have like those Madagascar hissing roaches, wherever they are. You know what I started looking at today because I've always been kind of a fan of doing it, and I'm not married. I have time on my hands, so I've always liked the idea of racing pigeons. And Big Tank Hank, how are you? So I started like looking it up just for grins, just because time on my hands. I could be doing more stuff with my fish, but hey. So I looked up, to buy a good pair of racing pigeons, $600. Um, Julie, I'm not promoting prepared food. I think we all have to use it from time to time. And I do, I do my one live feeding, and then and the deal is with feeding the fish, getting back to it, is that I would love to do the live worms, but they smell like death. And I prefer stuff that doesn't stink real bad. If I ever get a lady back to my place, host her over for dinner, make her a little dinner, a little glass of wine. I don't want the place smelling like death. Yeah, I do frozen. I do frozen. I do frozen. Daphnia Cyclops. I do a couple of different things. They do really well. My fish very happy with them. If I could find frozen scuds, I'd get those, but maybe I can order those online somewhere. Um, it's the one thing I would like to make, and I've read the recipe, I just haven't done it yet, is make my own beef heart. Beef heart, real high protein meat that works really well with fish growth. Really when everything is said and done. And Doug Gray, you can correct me on this. Is that really you're almost looking at the protein for growth, especially if you're trying to do show guppies, of almost some of the discus foods. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Chewy. It's was watching a live stream the other day, where someone was using, with guppies, and and it's and just using like automatic feeders, and that takes away from the variety of foods you can give the fish. It's not like you're putting live baby brine shrimp into an automatic feeder. I'm not hot on that. It's and I prefer. I like looking into the tanks. I and and I just and here's my schedule. I get up, at 4:30 in the morning, or actually before that, 3:45 in the morning. I jump in the shower at 4:30. Monday through Friday. And I usually give the fish a little bit of a feeding right then because the lights go off and they go back to sleep. I get home to walk Bolo. Sometime usually between 9 and 10. I usually feed them up pretty good. I get home from work, somewhere between 2 and 3. I feed them good. Live baby brine shrimp about 4:30. It's and once I'm done with the live baby brine shrimp, I'm off to do I go in and feed them right before bedtime. And they do really well. Renee, how are you? Yeah, so with guppy, with prepared foods for your guppies, really, really hunt for stuff that has, if you can have 45% or higher on the protein content, if you're looking at protein content, 40 or less, don't. Yeah, it'll feed them and it'll go from there. But if you're looking for growth for your guppies, if you're looking for the idea of important stuff, yeah, it's okay, Renee. We'll recover what we brought up. It was just I sat down, I took Bolo for a walk. Bolo is sleeping, by the way, on my lap. Lisa Perez, how are you? So it's so look at the proteins. Look at the stuff. Yeah, the only aquarium I give, I have my giant 65 show tank, and but I have, I have plecos in there, the super red plecos. I have Anais catfish, and so I put in bloodworms into that tank, you know, maybe every week or two. I think that's good. You just got a notification. You see, that's why I go a little bit early because sometimes they don't give a since I'm not at the monetized level yet, and if you've not subscribed, please do. Um, they it's not necessarily a priority for them because they're not making sweet cash off of me. Yeah, Posiwa, and I'll tell you as someone who keeps guppies, I usually have right now. I am feeding. I like mixed all my flakes together, so I have. Well, Doug Gray sent me a flake sample. I've got that. I've got a thing that has earthworm and brine shrimp flakes. I have obviously the live food I give my guppies. That's what I have right now. The Amica splendens that I have are vegetarian, so fresh veggies pretty important for them. They're just going to town on a zucchini right now. I put it in last night. Um, it's the whole process of my line is with the prepared foods. Don't get stuck on one. Get a wide variety and get the food that fits for what type of fish you do. Since I keep guppies, I try to do as high protein as I can find. And I do a wide variety, mainly because, you know what, there's deficits. The idea here is that, your diet, let's talk about your diet for a second. Your diet, you feature all sorts of different things. And these things bring different things that your body needs: proteins, fats, fibers, carbohydrates, vitamins and nutrients, etc. Well, fish, same thing. Your fish need these things. They need that stuff to help them grow. By the way, the bug bites, I love those things, and I need to get I I need to get a pepper grinder and throw those into a pepper grinder to grind them up for my guppies now and again, because I think it's really good. Yeah, I'm pro samples. I like that. It does sound so extreme. Um, Big J's Fish Keeper, how are you? Yeah, so if you're trying to get, my deal, I looked at Extreme just because it's like the flavor of the moment. Everybody's discussing it. They only have one type of food that would work for the guppies, at least how I'm trying to feed them. Hey, what's up, Ian? Great having you here. Um, I miss anybody else? Big J's Fish Keeper. Let's see here. Um, so the process is with feeding the fish is that I look very carefully at it because I'm after a certain thing with my fish. So, um, my issue with Extreme is that it doesn't have enough protein for most of it. They have one that's in the game at 42%, but I really want 44, 45%. So that's sort of the deal there. So I may order that one and go from there. The bug bites I like mainly because it's made out of insects, just straight insects. You throw that in a pepper grinder and bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, so that's good. Let's see what's going on in my fish room. I have like a flood of fry. So I have this 55-gallon aquarium that I've still been trying to figure out what to do with. And I have some shrimp in there. And when I moved over my fish aquariums, there were like a couple of fry guppies I didn't move over. There you go. That's the way it should be. Post seaweed. That's a great idea. Peplin Creek Aquatics, welcome to the live stream. Great having you here. And so I set up the aquarium. I got it right. By the way, the aquarium was not set up for almost a week. In fact, it may have been like 7, 8 days. But it had a little bit of water in the bottom. All of a sudden, there's like 3 fried guppies. I figured, okay, let's see how they do. All right, they've been dropping fry. I've got like a cloud of swordtail fry in here. And I mean, it's just monstrous, so it's all good. Hello, Bolo. You want to come up? Yeah, Bolo's been real. Here we go. Bolo has been very clingy today. He had just been sitting on my lap. He just got down to drink water. Real clingy. So that's nice. Let's see here. Oh, Mains, Tails, Fur and Fins. Hey, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, do you know what? That's what I've been talking about, Ian. I have not, and I need to. And that's like on my list to get done. So it's on my list to get done. I'm really in favor of it. Um, as I expand my fish room, whenever I get my stupid government check, that's all I'm after is my government check. And once I get it, I'm going to go And my stimulus check, I still haven't gotten it. So I'm gonna go do the flooring in there, and then boom, it's I'm gonna be overnight. I'm gonna be at probably 30, 40 tanks set up, and I'll get that's gonna be fun to do. Jadran put you in the collection now. You see, there you go. And Jason's a good guy, by the way. He's a good guy. I he inspired me. He converted his garage into a fish room. I'm not going to do that, but yeah. By the way, Renee, I have fed the aquarium co-op fry food. I think it's fine. I think it works just fine. I have I have no issues with it. In fact, I used one completely. I have not ordered another one. Don't ask me why. It's but yeah, I'm fine with it. Hey, Bolo. Yeah, I yeah, Lyretel Guppies and got some sub Worcester tang last night when I got home from the hospital. Excellent. Excellent. The process here as we go out and do what we can to help our fish fam and help the fish. It's just one of the great uh one of the things about the people who summer tub and is that the buffet of the skies and all that sort of stuff. Well, the fish come out looking healthier and looking happier in what you can keep in your fish room. Now the deal is, here's why, is they get a wider variety of foods. And they're getting a lot of insects. They're getting insects that lay their eggs in the water. You sort of encourage that, except for, of course, dragonflies, who are all excited about eating your fish, their larvae. But you go in and, the buffet of the skies, you go in and those puppies at the end of the season are huge, and if you've done it right, right location, right temperature, stuff like that, you're gonna have just a tub full of fish. You don't even know what to do with it. But a lot has to do with nutrition, everybody. It really does. The nutrition that goes on in outside is that there's a wider variety of food for them to eat. So my philosophy is very simple. Feed your fish a wide variety of food. Get the best food you can and rotate between them. It's we're trying to create. Here's the problem with all of us when it comes to food with our fish. Obviously, we all want to keep our fish happy. Hey, Joseph, how's it going? JH Aquatics. We want to keep our fish happy. We want to keep our fish in the best health they humanly can, and you can't do it with one food. Period. There's not one food you can give your fish. Now, I know there are some people it's who claim they feed one variety of food to their fish and everything's great. Okay, their fish may look good, but I'm just telling you, for long-term nutrition and keeping the fish happy, a wide variety of fish food is really important. I do 2 or 3 at a time. Besides the live baby brine shrimp, it does well. My fish look great. Your project fish were documented eating mostly algae. Yes, Posiwi, that could be a part of it. Also realize also that you're dealing with a feral stock of guppies, and feral guppies are smaller than a domestic guppy, because for hundreds of generations now, people have been breeding for a larger size. So we want big tails, we want the right colors, we want big bodies, we want all that stuff. And because of that, that's what we have going on. Now, I will say this just to give you a thing here, is that this tank that I have, this 55-gallon tank where there are just a few guppies there. Now I mean, all I'm doing is looking at fry in there. It's covered. That tank has a lot of algae going on with it, and it has and I occasionally I don't give them live baby brine as much as I give everybody else. But I give them a couple of different types of food. They look great. You know what? I have not worked with Madukas. In fact, I don't even know what that is. So yeah, I'm doing some learnings here. I've not done vinegar eels. I probably should, because do vinegar eels end up smelling like death, like microworms and white worms and banana worms? I got a culture of each of those at a thing last fall, and I fed them and I did new cultures for about 4 or 5 months. I just couldn't get past the smell of it, so I moved on. Yep. Yeah, no, and again, I'm a single guy. If I get a lady to the house to look at all my aquariums, she's gonna walk in and go, "This smells like death." It's probably a deal breaker. And quite frankly, I'll do anything for good nutrition for my fish, but that's not it. Renee, here's what I said about extreme foods: is that protein wise, they had like their nanobits, which are okay. They're like 42%, according to their website. A lot of their foods are in the 30 something percentile. For guppies, at least, that's not what I want. I want, 44%, as close as I can get to 50% as possible. So that's my deal with what I have seen with them looking through it. Again, it's do I think it's bad food? No. I wouldn't say they stink. But I would say this is that if you are trying to do what I'm trying to do, or Doug Gray's trying to do, that would be a food that, for most of their varieties, that would be marketed towards guppies. I wouldn't use them. So, um, so my whole deal here is to go out and do a wide variety of high protein foods. I do give, even though this doesn't necessarily have the protein level that guppies would like, I have a couple of different types of. I have a spirulina flake and I have an algae type flake for the Amica splendens, and occasionally I give that to the guppies. Every once in a while, I'll give them a little deal. Microworm culture that's starting to grow fruit flies. Well, there you go. Well, that's fruit flies are delicious. Ah, rice fish. The fry are tiny. Yeah, you're gonna need vinegar eels for that. Microworms. Yeah. Yeah, that isn't a bad idea, Chevy Fish. It's get the bug bites, grind them up, feed them with other stuff. It just isn't a bad deal. I don't necessarily mind the vinegar smell either, so I may just do the vinegar eels. Hey, congratulations, Renee. Yeah, the Angels, I bet, would love them, especially that fry, anything that's really small like that. Yeah, they would love it. Man, that's my ring unit that you heard making the noise there. Someone was driving by. What's interesting is that, by the way, do any of you have a ring? Here's my thing about the ring is that if people are walking in the road, it never picks them up. Car goes by, it always picks them up. You have to be relatively close to my entranceway for them to see them. So I'm going to add that second camera on the garage, and so I can go out and look from there. I may do that here in a couple of weeks. Get that done. You have baby shrimp, or is that an oxymoron? There you go. Saw some baby blue cherry shrimp too. I wasn't sure. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, that may be the deal is that I was sort of hoping I would see with my ring that, people walking by and stuff like that, just to go from there. Color Guppies, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. By the way, today's live stream, not sponsored by, but I'm going to give a free commercial right now to Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm cheap, and I only buy Diet Dr. Pepper in cases that you can get at Sam's or Costco or BJ's Wholesale Club, whichever one you have. They've been out of that for months. In fact, there was news stories about a shortage of Diet Dr. Pepper, but now I've got a case. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, and and Renee, some people don't have the time or the energy or the space to do baby brine shrimp, and I get it. And we're all sort of limited by the amount of stuff we can do with our fish. There's just all of us are one way or another. But if you can do live fish or frozen fish food or what have you, you know, it's a good idea to do it. It really is. I think it's really, really a good deal. Still trying to figure out. I want to get a bigger cichlid just as a water pet in the new fish room. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do because I want something that's going to go in like a 65-gallon tank, and I'm not looking for something that would be best way to describe it as as something that would get too big for that. So there you go, Melvin. How are you? Great seeing you, my friend. Got a good group here. 19 here, 11 thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up if you'd like to. Yeah, do you know what? Ian, the deal about the scuds, I probably need to do that. I probably need to do that. I don't think I'm going to be doing snakeheads. I think snakeheads are illegal. Um, it's By the way, I'm organizing. I've been in the same league for fantasy football forever. We probably should do a Fishy Friends league. Well, Renee, as I have said over and over again, Amber, what's up? Big City Bettas. Bolo's getting some snuggles. He's right here in my lap. I'm petting him as we go. He's been very, very clingy today. I mean, from moment one. I woke up later than normal, took him for his walk, and he's been in my lap. I took him out for a walk right before we started the live stream. He's been in my lap ever since. Got a few non-guppy tanks open. You see, there you go. It's trust me, I have lots of tanks to set up, and I can't wait to get them up. Can't wait. There you go, Renee. And remember, tell that wonderful husband of yours that keeping fish is a beautiful hobby. And just think how wonderful that would be for him to be involved as well. Husband wife time, a family get together. Okay. I know I've teased your husband way too much on that. Chana Puchera. And yeah, it's I'm gonna look this up right now. I don't know if let me look at this right now while we're here. Northern Snakehead, Missouri. Let's see. Yeah, I can't own one. Sad. Not in my area of Missouri yet, so I could get one and release in the wild. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, even though it's funny to say. Funny to say all the way around. It's Chevy fish. It's some arowanas. Some arowanas are illegal to trade in. Some are not. And I'm not an expert on arowana, except I think they're pretty doggone cool. And I'm not gonna have a fish tank big enough for one. Okay, silvers and jarninis. Yeah, it's a couple. What's interesting to me is that I have the Amica Splendens. There's a couple of people in the fish fam that have them, like D at Down the Fish Show, Down the Wormhole, and a couple other people that have the Amica Splendens, and they're a critically endangered species. And there's no problem trading them, selling them, shipping them. Where is going from there? Excellent, Chattanooga Ed. I'm in. Ed, why isn't Kaler helping you move stuff? Always ducks out when work needs to be done. Bob Kaler is probably watching right now, and he's going to go and let us know why. Or he's going to bust your chops, Doug. There's no Elvis involvement, is there? Yeah, it's yeah, I need something that will fit in a 65-gallon tank. And I really don't want to do an Oscar fish. I love them, they're great, but I don't know if I want to do that. Color guppies. Now that's a problem. No females. Yeah, it's when you're developing a line, that's not a good thing. Rainbow fish. Yeah, I need something, Chevy, that that can that can enjoy swimming with the guppies. Oh, it's time for another swig of Diet Dr. Pepper. No, Oscars are great. Getting a nice Oscar and naming him Arnie. Severums are not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Discus would be cool, but that's not what I'm after. In fact, I will tell you, discus and bettas. If I went down the betta roll, I was watching a live stream the other day with our buddy at Maine's Tails, Furs and Fins, and she was going through and showing her betta barracks that she built. Oh, that was just very tempting for me to go betta because who knows, maybe I will when I go in there and do a new thing. Big school of cardinal tetras, yeah, with the discus, just really gorgeous. Another fish that's great to do, and Corey with Aquarium Co-op had it, and I don't know why he stopped keeping it. He's like converted over to a goldfish tank, his big 800 gallon acrylic tank. He had like 150 or something like that of tiger barbs. I mean, pretty sweet. Colombian tetras, killifish, yeah, those are nice. Maines and Dumbo Guppies and Bettas, I believe is her name. Well, she has horses, corgis, fish, and I don't know where the other one comes from, but she'll help us. And Polo's over here sleeping with all 4 feet in the air like you just don't care. Oh, no more goldfish. Now he's going to do his other embu puffer and 1,000 rummy nose tetras. Yeah, you see 1,000 rummy nose tetras with the embu puffer. That actually ain't bad at all. Manes, tails, fur, and fins. There we go. Thank you, Peplin, for straightening out Doug Ray. Yeah, high end. Yeah, golden barbs and Odessa barbs. Yeah, Odessa barbs really nice. Yeah, so Bolo's over here, all 4 feet in the air like you just don't care. Just really doing well. So it's by the way, it's tails, fur, and fins. Your betta barracks was really bad for me to see. Because now I'm thinking of it. And you're pushing me over. So 2 weeks from today, at Churchill Downs, one of the horses I have a couple of shares in is running in the 4th race at Churchill Downs, not in the Kentucky Derby. But he's making his debut for the year. He got injured at the end of last season. He just ended up. He was growing so fast. He's a 3-year-old now. His fecklocks were swollen, so they put him on the farm for like 60 days, and then started, doing some light exercise with him. They actually kept him in a stall for 60 days. Then they moved him out where he could run around a little bit. And oh, trust me, Mains, Tails, Fur, and Feathers. This is the Fish Fam is a project that never ends. It's like always something new, always something different. So my what was I? Oh, so Wayne O is his name. Wayne space O. Yeah, so he was in he was in a small outside area, not very far, so he couldn't run. And then they started water therapy for him, and then they started jogging him. And my hope was that he would have been, considering the move of the Kentucky Derby, he would have been ready for some Kentucky Derby preps. But no, I'm telling everybody there's a new project to be done. But Mains, Tails, Furs, and Feathers is talking about she's going to have to improve stuff. Scott's Aquatics, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Yeah, that's a good question, Chef. I sort of, I guess it would be a paddock. That's the smaller size, right? It was a relatively small area they allowed him to go in. Then they did water therapy. Then they started jogging him, and they started running him about 2 months ago. And last Sunday he had to work, and that's when they go out and they run a horse at and his first several works were not, the jockey or the exercise rider was not pushing him at all. I mean, nothing. This last week they sort of let him go, but they really didn't push. And out of 59 horses at Churchill Downs that day exercising 5 furlongs, he had the third fastest times. Yeah, they breezed him. Yeah. Yeah, so he had the third fastest time out of like 59 horses. And make sure I have that right, but 57 or 59. And I have an email from, or the company that handles it, they actually have whichever horses you own, they have right from there. Yeah, 3 out of 47. It was only 47. Third place. Churchill Downs, it was 5 furlongs. It was just above a minute. So there you go. So his last several breezes were on the 28th of September. They started working him on 5 furlongs in July. It was 103 for the first one, which was not very quick. Then on the 3rd of August is a minute 2. On the 10th, it was a minute 1.6. And on the 17th is a minute 0.4. And again, without really pushing him. So I'm pretty happy about it. Wayne O, I'll type it in. And so he is, yeah. So hopefully, he's going to be in a $100,000 allowance race on September 5th, and the 4th race. And if he wins that, he'll go to a graded stakes. So, and once he gets that, it would be nice for him to win a grade 1. He was a very expensive horse. He was like, as a yearling, sold for $750,000. And the brokerage company I've got my horses through, I own a few. Okay, 10. I have shareholder in 10 different horses. Griffin, Fish Room, we were all saying, where were you? Welcome. Great having you here. I always appreciate whenever anybody can come out and spend any time. Thank you. So, by the way, I got a note from Carlos, DPK Aquatics, is apparently going through some personal life issues. And I just wrote him a note, and he wrote me back, which was very kind. Just told me we all loved him, and we all have his back. So it's just, you know, we all have things we have to go through in our lives. Some of us have had divorces. Some of us have had, big issues in our families or what have you. Sometimes a personal struggle that we all have. He apparently is going through a personal struggle. I don't know what the whole deal was. Carlos, I didn't get into it with him. I just said, "Hey, I've been thinking about you, and you're my thoughts and prayers." And I wrote back to him saying, "Hey, realize everybody loves you, and you've got this. You'll be fine. Just keep going." So that's essentially what I said to him. And I didn't ask for him to go through. In fact, we've all been through issues. Oh, you're getting ready to go to the funeral home now? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Are you Mormon, Griffin Fish Room? I have a thing why I'm asking. My brother works for a company in Southern California, and a lot of his coworkers are Mormons, and they do well, they're not doing it now because of the COVID-19 thing, but they would do a monthly potluck where people would bring something in. And he said the Mormon funeral potatoes, my brother goes, maybe the best thing you've ever eaten. Mormon funeral potatoes. I'm not going to convert to being a Mormon, but I would love to go to a Mormon funeral. I'll wear a suit. I'll be polite. I just want to eat those potatoes. I almost called the Church of Latter-day Saints in my community saying, "Hey, when are you having a funeral? Can you invite me?" There's Mormons everywhere, Chattanooga Ed. There's Mormons. They're everywhere. They really are good at dental hygiene, and they really make apparently really good funeral potatoes. So I'm in. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So where I own my racehorses from, I'll give you the website, and they actually have a horse that's going to be running in the Kentucky Derby. They're selling, I mean, extremely small shares in him for like $200. But if that's something you're interested. Uh, Best friend, classmate, brother's firefighter passed away. Sorry about that. Hattrick Farm, what's up? I'm sorry. It's just I've had a bunch of friends of mine, by the way. No one has passed away from it yet, but I've had probably about 10 friends of mine come down with the COVID. And so, remember, gang, this is going to be with us till we have a vaccine. So be careful. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. And realize this is that for people who don't say the masks don't work and all that sort of stuff, yeah, Macefields, fur and fins. Uh, for instance, I do not have with this. I don't get in the owner's box. Um, Now, before, of course, the COVID kicked in, is that the my racehorse, which is the brokerage firm that handles this, is that they have a certain amount of spots in the owner's box, and if you're attending the race, you can apply for it. And if you get pulled out of the hat, and they base on the amount of shares you own in a horse, um, you get in. So it's and they also do a pretty cool thing, for owners when they do tours. So it's kind of a neat deal. And yeah, no, I'm not a quote unquote a registered owner. But it's a stock that's sold with approval of the Securities and Exchange Commission. And my racehorse was started by one of the principals of Casper Mattress. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's okay. I'll read you the list of my horses. Sort of like fish. It's once you start it, it's like going through there. Okay, I own a 2-year-old filly by American Pharoah called American Heiress, a 3-year-old called Daddy's Joy, a 2-year-old called Joyful Addiction, another 2-year-old Lady Valentine. I have a 3-year-old filly who had a really big 2-year-old year, and they just retired her. They're going to sell her at auction facing Tipton coming up in November. Her name is Lazy Daisy. They're going to make her into a broodmare. Moonlight Dioro, sharing the same sire as American Pharoah. I have a filly called Shared Empire. These are both 2-year-olds. Solar Strike by Tappet. He was just gelded, unfortunately. I have 4 shares in him. Solar Strike. He's 2. Another 2-year-old, a colt named Storm Shooter, and then Wayne O. I have 3 shares in Wayne O. So that's sort of my horse collection. Yeah, they give, Maid's Tail Fur and Fins, they do give perks. Here's the deal is that Moonlight Dioro, she had her debut 2 weeks ago. She finished in second place. So it's part of a package of 4 fillies, 8,000 total shares. I just have 1 share. And I got, it paid me $2.11. I've invested into 4 horses, $180. So there you go. Yes, I get a portion of the sale. Or you get if all of a sudden the filly, if a couple of these fillies are co-owned by Spendthrift Farm. For the most part, these are going to be kept as as broodmares by them, and yeah, I get full breeding rights. So it's like any other investment. After the sale of a foal, I would go through there. Wayne O is a colt. If he wins a grade 1, if he becomes a millionaire, he's going to be a stallion. I get breeding rights on him to the point whether they decide, if they sold him to, a farm in Japan or Korea or, Australia or something, I would get a payoff from that. So there you go. It's, yeah, Kamala. Yeah, Kamala, the Ugandan giant, passed away last week. Absolutely, very sad. He had COVID-19, but he also had really bad health issues. He, I think, lost a leg from diabetes. And here's the deal with this: for most of the people who've passed away from COVID, it's folks with underlying health issues. So if somebody is diabetic, somebody has has had cancer, stuff like that, you want to be very extremely careful not to get it. And I have a buddy of mine, guy I used to work with years ago. He's a little bit younger than me. He's like in his early 40s. And his diabetes became so out of whack, they ended up having to take off part of his leg. And so he got COVID. And I was really worried because, you're worried about your friends, that type of stuff. Fortunately, he has recovered and is doing well and wasn't hospitalized. So there's only one person I know that's been hospitalized, or actually 2 people. One of them was somebody who was, in his 70s, and I'm pretty worried about him. He got out the other day, my buddy Dave. So yeah, it's crazy. Watching Hulk Hogan. Here we go. We got into wrestling. See, all from the COVID. The other thing having to do, by the way, with the yeah, I've been working at Color Guppies. I've been working at the office since this thing is all kicked in. Um, especially when it was really active, they had the shutdown going on. They were very careful about, at my office about making sure separation. They actually played around with people's schedules. My schedule didn't change. I still had to get up at 3:45 in the morning. But they had certain people that were working from home and they were rotating coming in. And that went on. And we've been fortunate. Nobody at my office has come down with it, which is strong. Nobody wants this thing. It's not a pleasant thing to do. So yeah, but if you look at Walmart or Target or your grocery store, whatever it is, they have it down pat. Their employees, for the most part, have not come down with it. If you would go through and think of some of the hype over this thing, because the mask doesn't solve everything. But if everybody's masked up, or most of the people are masked up, it stops most of it. And that is, the real important thing. Yep, stagger shifts, social distancing. Yeah, it's being smart. That's what it's all about. That's just what it's all about. Hello, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. So it's and again, the whole process, the thing is, by the way, about our hobby is that we're never at an end of it. There's always something to do. And part of that is really, really cool because we can all learn things, etc. It's it I'm a big fan, by the way, of anybody um who keeps who goes through and they've been involved with all their different things with their fish, etc. And it's really an important thing. And again, we all have to move forward and try to play things and learn things. I'll tell you what, Chevy Fish, any sport there is, except for, well, but tennis, you can do it as well. Nearly every sport there is a lot of people getting hurt, etc. And, there's baseball players that get hit by pitches or a batter who hits and all of a sudden it drills the pitcher or something like that in baseball. Basketball, it's a very, you look at the elbows flying in that, pretty violent, pretty high contact. Football, obviously very high contact. How many people have come down with CPD from, you know, you know, from being hit in the head playing football? Soccer, imagine the people doing those headers. I mean, it cannot be good. Uh, it's so I think the idea here is nearly every sport has its issues. Yeah, tennis, it's there's a lot of and again, it's all about if people who are big runners, and I know people who run a lot, obviously not me. These people are going through huge injuries the longer they do it. Some of them have big foot problems, some get bone spurs, some have knee issues. So it it's being involved with everything has risks. Now, if I had a kid and the kid wanted to do a sport, I would probably have that kid do. I probably, realizing I'm not that big of a guy. I played high school football. Um, it not well, but I played it. I played it with my brain, not with my body. It was I played. I was a wide receiver, and not because of my speed. Uh, Mainly because I was elusively slow. Mainly because if the quarterback threw the pass between here and my waist, somewhere like this, I caught it every time. And generally, what happened is I was the guy at the beginning of the game. They would cover you tightly, and they're going, well, "He's that kind of slow." I was like the tortoise and the hare. And by the end of the game, I would in the second half, I would start getting wide open, very wide open, and the quarterback would be thrown. The quarterback had time. I'd get down the field. He would throw a real deep pass. I would catch it. I also played free safety. Again, not because of speed or what have you. But, there you go. Now, I hate to say this, basketball, they purposely hurt for each other. Football, it's, they're doing whatever they can to make these sports safe. But, it's a heck of a deal. And, yeah, kiddos, you know what though? We were insane at our age too. It's just nature of the beast. We get a little bit older and go from there. All right, gang, that is it. I am out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's see if you see all my last video. See my son. He's not so big either. Decided they needed to ride horses, not football or basketball. But I'm not saying that rodeo is not dangerous at all. No, you fall off a horse and you break your arm. That happens a lot. It's my dad's one of his frat brothers picked up polo in his 50s, and this guy was like breaking an arm. He broke his shoulder. I mean, it's whatever you do with there's risk for everything. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate 17 here, 17 thumbs up. Appreciate the support. We'll see you Monday.